Welcome to Finance Deep Dive. For, over 75 years, the US dollar has been the undisputed king of the hill in global finance. But now, a really powerful new alliance of nations is starting to build a whole new system. And you know what? It's one that could fundamentally reshape the world's economic order. In this video, we're breaking down the rise of BRICS and the very real challenge it's posing to the dollar's long-held crown. So, who exactly is this challenger? Well, it all starts with some of the world's most influential emerging economies. You got the commodity powerhouse Brazil, the energy giant Russia, the incredibly fast-growing tech and manufacturing hub of India, the world's second biggest economy, China, and the key African gateway, South Africa. You put them all together and you get the acronym BRICS. And listen, they're moving from just a talking point into a real cohesive bloc with a very clear agenda. Okay, so to really get the sheer significance of what BRICS is trying to do, we first have to understand the massive, overwhelming power of the system they're going up against. For decades, the US dollar hasn't just been a currency, it's been the currency. It is the absolute foundation of modern global finance. Its main job? Being the world's official reserve currency. Now, what does that actually mean? It means central banks all over the globe, we're talking from Tokyo to London, hold huge amounts of dollars as a safe, stable way to store their wealth. This creates this constant built-in demand for the dollar. And that dominance, it stretches into pretty much all global trade. So think about it. When Japan buys oil from Saudi Arabia, or when Chile sells copper, those deals are almost always priced and settled in US dollars. This basically forces every country that trades to get and use American currency, which gives the US incredible economic leverage. And for decades, this entire system has been built on a bedrock of global trust in the stability and, frankly, the unmatched size of the US economy. The dollar has always been the safe harbor in any economic storm. But it's exactly that leverage, that dominance, that has pushed a new challenger to step into the ring. So let's take a look at the weight that BRICS really brings to this fight. First, let's just talk about people. The BRICS nations altogether account for over 40% of the entire world's population. I mean, that is just a staggering human and consumer base for any new economic system. And it's not just about population. These are some of the fastest growing economies on the planet. Get this, their combined share of global GDP has already surpassed the G7 nations. That's not a future prediction. That's the reality right now. On top of all that, these guys are titans of production. They're dominant in producing key grains, they control huge reserves of the world's energy, and they're critical sources for the minerals that we need for all our modern tech. This gives them immense leverage in the global supply chain. So, with that kind of economic muscle, how exactly is this alliance starting to chip away at the dollar's crown? Well, it's not through talk, it's through strategic action. We're seeing this wave of trade deals designed to just completely bypass the dollar. For instance, when India buys oil from Russia, they're increasingly settling that payment in their own currencies, rupees and rubles. The dollar is simply cut out of the equation. And it's not a one-off thing. We're seeing this pattern repeat. China and Brazil, two massive trading partners, just announced a deal to handle their enormous trade and financial transactions directly in yuan and reals. Each deal might seem small, but you add them up and they represent a clear, growing trend. So here's the crucial point. These are not just isolated trade agreements. They are deliberate steps toward building a whole alternative financial architecture. For these nations, reducing their reliance on the dollar isn't just an economic goal, it's a strategic one. They want to gain more monetary independence and protect themselves from US financial policy and sanctions. All of this, of course, leads to the ultimate question. What does this all mean for the future of money and global power? Okay, let's be crystal clear. The dollar's reign is not ending tomorrow. The sheer depth, the liquidity, and the trust that's built into the dollar system are just immense. They won't be easily replaced. It's still the world's #1 safe haven asset. But it's also just as clear that BRICS represents the most significant, most coordinated challenge to that system in over half a century. So no, the dollar isn't being replaced overnight. But that unipolar world of finance, where the dollar was the only star in the sky, that's undeniably giving way to a much more complex picture. The global currency system is slowly but surely shifting. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe. It motivates us to keep posting.